What's up guys, this is Cher talking, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be making a full review for the SaGa sold Tsubaki's banner that brings Tsubaki, a magical tank with access to defense boosts to the party, Kumi, a general slash damage dealer, and Chiago Lisboa, a heavy nuker for pierce and shadow damage with a big risk. We're gonna start talking about Tsubaki. She gives a name to the banner, is the most interesting character in my opinion. She has good enough dex 34 damage, very good will, so she's a magical tank, she needs to protect against magical attacks, and goodwill also helps you against debuffs and status ailments. Her endurance was buffed compared to JP, so that, well, some bosses will still use physical attacks, so that helps Tsubaki survive better. Her agility and intelligence are not that big because she's a hybrid, but it's usually enough to handle some situations. But if it's not, you need to bring a buffer to increase her intelligence at least in order to apply debuffs. But debuffs not even her main gameplay. Now let's talk about the passives. The first one is called Magic Seal. On the start of a turn and every turn, she'll grant all surviving allies a defensive stance spell medium that lasts for one turn. So what exactly is that? She's going to decrease spell damage by 25% for one turn, but she triggers this on the start of every turn. That means that it will be active all times. It will not work against physical attacks with elemental damage. It needs to be a spell based on intelligence for it to work. Then we have the third passive called Scrum Guard that decreases damage to all surviving allies by 20% at all times against physical and against magical. So she has two ways to decrease damage to the party with her passives. She does not even need to use a skill. That is actually awesome. The closest comparison to Tsubaki will be Gustave, the Fated Hour Comes, because he has Scrum Guard as well, decreasing damage to the party by 20%, and he has Steel Dominance, an APP skill that is fast, deals damage against raw enemies, and applies a defense stance spell. This time it's large, decreasing by 35. His version is even better, decreasing by 35 against 25. But then Gustav is locked in using that attack every 2 turns, while Tsubaki can use something else, and she has something else to offer. Besides, she has Exhaustion 1. When she lands an attack, she decreases the intelligence of the enemy by 5%, even with normal attacks, and recovers 1 BP, so Tsubaki gets 4 BP per turn. It's a very nice combination of passives and just works. Now for skills, we have Quick Thrust Plus. It's a C power attack with 19 mod, pretty close to B, but it's just damage, nothing else. You will not be using this skill, I assure you. The second one is Interference. For 6 BP, you have a full AoE attack that is even indirect, hits all enemies with a chance to debuff their intelligence by 20%, medium in fact. That means that it actually debuffs 25 because of Exhaustion 1. That is a very big number. And because it's only 6 BP and you get 4, you can at least start the fight using this and even use it for 3 times. And then after that you have to sometimes wait a turn, but the value is good enough. The problem is, just like always, bosses will have either a Dare Soul where you will not be able to keep debuffing, or it will just trigger Defy weaknesses, or it will have a Defy weakness skill applied on every 2 turns or something, so bosses will remove debuffs applied more often than not. But when it works, it will be very good. And since she is resisting against spell damage, debuff intelligence makes all sense. Then the third one is called Gold Conductor. It's a single target attack with double S power and 51 mod, that's good enough, and has a chance to buff intelligence by also 20%, and it will be 25 because of exhaustion. And she will also buff all surviving allies will by 30% on max level. So 9 BP, she gets 4, and she debuffs the enemy for intelligence while raising your will. It all makes sense, it just simply works. She will defend the party against all types of damage, then defend them against spell, then debuff the intelligence, the main status that the boss uses for spells, and then buff will, the main status used to resist spell damage or even ailments and debuffs. So it just makes sense, and she can even choose to go for AoE when multiple enemies, or go for single target. Most hard challenges are just one boss, and she will even buff will. Sometimes we need a second buffer because Matriarch alone will not be enough. Remember, Matriarch is the center of many strategies because of her Paean of Peace that buffs Dexterity, Will, Love, and Charisma. It makes even more sense because Tsubaki uses Dexterity to do damage. So, she pairs up super well with Matriarch, and, well, sometimes, like I said, Matriarch is not enough to resist against ailments or some other stuff, so Tsubaki will help by buffing Will to the party and be your secondary buffer while applying resistance to the party. So, simple design that makes sense. As for Inheritance, we have two options. Paralyzing Trust, it's a 2BP attack that debuffs Dexterity by 15%, and maybe sometimes you also want to debuff Dexterity if the enemy is too hybrid. And there is a second option, Distortion. It's a cheaper version of a single target attack, but does not buff Will. I don't think it's good. Well, Tsubaki does not have any future style on JP so far, but it doesn't really matter that much since her design is future-proof. She is going to be useful for some time. If you don't have the latest version of Gustave, this tank version of him is really good against magical attacks. Tsubaki will fit in any squad where Gustave would. And if you don't have this version of Jamil, Beauty is a Sin, she also helps you even more, because Jamil is used on Remembrance to decrease damage because of Scrum Guard, and he can also apply Guard Up. Now Tsubaki will work by just giving you Scrum Guard and also buffing Will. They don't clash because you can actually stack Scrum Guard, and he gives Guard Up, she gives Magical Shield, but she does clash with Gustave. Both cannot use it together because Scrum Guard stacks but the Spell Shield does not. So it's less interesting for those that already have Gustave. But that's it. Because she has very similar operation to Gustav and he is considered a triple S character, she is also receiving a triple S grade, and it's a good investment for newcomers and veterans that don't have the characters I just mentioned. The next character is Kumi. She's a great sword user with access to slash damage, and she is more of a farmer than anything else. She has 115% SCR, 115% agility, so that she goes fast and deals damage. Her endurance and will are just average, and that's it. For passives, we have Reinvigorate 1 STR. When she lands an attack, she buffs her own STR by 15% and recovers 1 BP. So, a 4 BP per turn character. Great Block Tension decreases damage taken by 25% and increases her damage potential by 30. Fired Up 7 increases her damage potential by 40, so she has 70% at all times and receives less damage by 25% while self-buffing and recovering 1 BP by attack. Now, skill number 1 is Blast Plus. It's a strong attack with 8 power and 4 BP cost only. She could use this as much as she wants. Well, she can even stun with this attack, but her intelligence is pretty bad, only works for Kazensi. The second skill, Vertical Rift, it's a 6 BP column attack that deals slash damage with C power. But it can attack between 1, 2, or 3 times. The average will be 2 hits. And only 1 hit, C power. 2 hits equal to S power. 3 hits equal to triple S power. Well, it applies defense down with each hit. That means if you get 3 hits, you're going to apply this 3 times, increasing your damage potential together with your squad, because, well, she already buffed STR after the first hit, and each new apply of defense down means the next hit deals more damage. But there's too much RNG involved. I think she only works if you already have another column attacker that will kill the enemy if she does not. Made for farming, nothing much more than that. But also works for Deathmaster Remembrance because it's an indirect attack, means that she will hit all the minions. Most veterans already cleared that, it means that it helps more newcomers. The third attack is Vandalize Plus. It's a single foe attack that hits 3 times with B power. That's actually amazing, it equals 4S damage, and after the first hit she already buffed her STR. That means that the second and third hits will do more damage. And she is a 4 BP per turn character, that means that you can open with Vandalize. For farming you will go into Blast Plus and then use this 2 times, but if you are on a boss fight you can open with Vandalize and then use normal attack till you have enough to use Vandalize again. Or you can, even better, wait, use normal attacks till you are close to 20 BP and then start using Vandalize in a row, because that will just do more damage since you just charged your SDR. But in the end, Kumi is just too simple. She has damage reduction passive, she has good damage, but nothing too outside the normal. She can work as a placeholder in Remembrance, she has no future, no other style, so you will use her in the place of something that you find in the future. But she gets contested by Silver. She has in her Platinum style Vandalize that can be amplified, and she will do much more damage because you can inherit Vandalize Plus into her Global X style or into her UDX style. And those two styles have chase mechanics that sacrifice LP but gets 2 additional hits. And you can use Vandalize and then chase 2 times with other attacks. And both versions of Silver are better defensively than Kumi. So that's why I said she's kind of a placeholder. Besides Silver and Kumi, there's also Actor. With his school style you can find Vandalize. The latest Actor does not have damage reduction passive but has self-heal, but his future style will be much stronger, so this attack will be seen in future styles. But that's Kumi, she is just too simple. Can do damage, can work here and there, but has nothing special moving forward. Right now, I do believe she deserves an SS grade, but that will change when we get better damage dealers for Great Swords. And the last character is Chiago Lisboa, and I really like the design of this character. We have 118% SDR, that's pretty big, 95 endurance, 93 will, and his agility suffers a little. 84%, it's kinda bad. You need formations like Amazon Raid Axe and place it on the front line, or the Hurricane formation or Magia fight in order for this guy to work. Even then, you see some people in the back row attacking before him, depending on who you place. Then, let's talk about his passives. They are kinda crazy. First, Eager to Win. Attack damage increases by 15% at all times. When his HP is not full, damage increases further by 10%, and he reduces damage taken by 10%. This is his only damage reduction passive, and it only works when he's not full. Then, on the start of a turn, he will trigger 3 BP and lose 10% of his HP because of that, as a punishment. And this will trigger 5 times in battle, so in 5 turns you're gonna get 15 BP overall to use some skills in some nice rotations. The second one, Strengthen and Attack 2, starts the fight with 12 BP and gets 15% increasing damage at all times. The last, Great Dire Tension, attack increases by 30% at all times, and when HP is not full increases further by 15%. So, he has 60% damage increase at all times and 85% when not on full HP. But when he nukes, he's not going to be on full HP, and I will explain why. Well, skill 1 is Sweep Plus. It's a single target attack with 0 BP cost and deep power, and it has a medium chance to apply stun. Well, intelligence is pretty bad, it will only work for Kazinsi if you really need, but there's too many options. But at least he does not need to use normal attack. The second one, Soul Stinger. For 9 BP you have a 4S attack with Pierce and Shadow damage. But before attacking, all surviving allies is going to take recoil damage of 20% of their max HP, including himself. So, when he attacks with this skill, he's going to lose his full HP, meaning that 85% damage passives will be activated for full damage on 4S potential. And because it's kinda cheap, Soul Stinger can be used on turn 1, then again on turn 2, he will need to skip turn 3 and he will use Sweep Plus. But on turn 4 and 5 he can use Soul Stinger again for some very nice damage. This rotation reminds me a little of Human Female. Human Female has a similar rotation. As you can see here, in her UDX style she gets some BP plus and she can use Wrecking Glass many times in a row. But the new part reminds me of someone else, that is Darke. Darke, UDX style, has this attack called Instant Q, that it's an 8 PP 4S attack that also deals Shadow and Pierce. But his penalty is losing 80% of his max HP. That is very, very dangerous. This Darke will also apply defense down, when attacking with targets to increase the damage of the party, and has a chance to evade, but he is even more risky when you think about some situations like raids. And I do believe that Chiago Lisboa is like the best character for raids. Why? Because, well, you usually need to get 600,000 to get all the drop chassis from raid in conquest mode. The damage will be too high, so he is going to do that much by himself, and you can bring 4 characters unequipped and he's going to kill them himself. After that, you will just finish the stage super fast. But outside of raids, Chiago works super fine for normal farming. In events with 2 waves, he's going to attack 2 times and do a lot of damage. He's capable of solo farming many events with only 1 enemy. And doing damage to your party really does not matter, because people will not be attacking or be attacked. Now, there's another way to use Chiago, by Swooping Dragon Plus. This is instead a 12 BP skill with the same damage but only pierce. And after he deals damage, he's going to recover his HP by medium effect. That should be close to 1000 HP heal. So that means that he can also work as a placeholder for Remembrance. And now what's interesting about Swooping Dragon is that he's still going to get 85% damage increase, because remember, Eager to Win triggers on start of a turn before he attacks, so he gets 10% HP loss, attacks with Swooping Dragon and just recover it back to full HP. Kinda reminds me a little of a human unit. And he can use Swooping Dragon on turn 1, then on turn 3, and then again on turn 5. After that, it's going to take 4 turns to use Swooping Dragon again, so be careful. Chiago Lisboa is a character with high risk, big payoff, but works better for the first 5 turns. If the fight is too long, I don't think Chiago is your best option. There will be alternatives for Pierce and Shadow, especially Rouge and Chooser. With all that said, Chiago deserves an SS Plus grade because his damage potential is very good and he can work well in different scenarios. Now back to the banner image. Is this banner worth summoning for? I have to say that mostly yes, because Tsubaki and Chiago Lisboa are premium level characters. Tsubaki is even better if you don't have Tank Gustav or the cross version of J-New. Even if you do, it still adds a new layer, because Tsubaki may be better than Gustav most of the time because of that wheel buff. But Kumi is not that good. She's just a character that works and will not be so useful in the long run. So I'll be giving a silver award, and I would pull for this banner if I had gems, but I don't, so I'll be skipping. And that's my opinion. What is yours? Please say here in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you soon in the next one. Bye.